Happy Vlogmas Day 22. So it's really early, I don't know if you can tell, but it's pitch dark out. I'm about to go to work, but I wanted to show you a couple of things before I go today. We've got some stuff happening today. And then later when I get off work, I'm gonna make gingerbread cookies. This is our Christmas village, which is normally on our mantle, and I've yet to show it to you. I'll show it to you again, hopefully, if I can remember when it's back up on the mantle, but we are getting new gas logs today. We unfortunately, a couple of years ago, had a leak in our chimney that we didn't know about. It rusted out our gas logs, and they no longer work, which is a big bummer. So we're getting a brand new set today, which will hopefully work. Here's our super barren mantle. Those are our stocking hangers that you see that are still there because those are on there really good. We're not worried about those falling off. But they recommended removing everything in the immediate vicinity. And then this is our poor old gas logs that quit working. And I wanted to replace these doors. I really don't like these doors, but found out they're like really expensive. I'm talking about like $800 to $1,000 because you have to have them custom made. And I said, you know what? They're not that bad. So I'm home from work and it's time to make some gingerbread, and then I'll show you our new gas logs, which look awesome. This recipe that I'm about to make is not my own. This is from Paleo Mom. She has a website. She has at least one book, probably more. I've got one of her cookbooks. I will link to that down in the show notes below, and I'll let you know at the end if I think these are good. She had an old recipe I used to make, and I liked those, but they were crumbly, and that's what she didn't like about them, so she redid the recipe, and despite her name, I would not consider this a paleo recipe. It's grain-free, but it's got evaporated cane juice, which I found out was actually dry. I was looking for some juice, but it's a dry granule, and I don't think that would be considered paleo, but I do like the fact that it's gluten-free, and I've liked her recipes in the past, so I'm gonna give it a try. I'm not going to go over the exact amounts of everything because I don't want to take away from her recipe. Like I said, I'll put it in the show notes so you can look that up. But I was going to show making it today. So here's all the ingredients. And to start with, I'm supposed to put the molasses, the almond butter, and the sugar together and mix those till they're smooth. So I'm going to start with that. Also, I just went back and checked the recipe and realized that I forgot to put the ghee in for this step, so I'm adding that in now. And I will stir that in just a minute. And then I'm also going to go ahead and make the dry part. So that is the tapioca flour, the salt, the baking soda, and the ginger. And I should mention her recipe has some other spices. I opted to leave those out. Hers has cloves and ground cloves and one other spice, cinnamon. And I decided to leave those out because I'm used to gingerbread men without those spices, with just ginger and the molasses as the predominant flavor, so I left those out.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws, out jumps good old Santa Claus, down through the chimney with lots of toys.
That is it for now. You have to let it sit for an hour. And one thing I've learned with all recipes, but especially gluten-free recipes, if they tell you to let it sit, let it sit. Usually it's in the refrigerator so that when you roll it out, it's not too sticky, but this one actually says room temperature, so I'm gonna follow the recipe exactly. So here it is. Here is our brand new gas logs. We already had gas logs, they just didn't work. These look so much better. I like the glowing coals underneath. I think that makes it look a lot more realistic. And also, I don't think we ever showed once we put our elves in our stockings, so you can see mine over there. Brian's I had to take out because he actually has treats in his stocking, so it didn't fit. And then here's the little village that I mentioned that we had to take down. I got this, I don't even know how many years ago at this point, at least 20. And I got it from Kmart, which I don't even think is in existence, at least around here anymore. And we lost one. One fell off and broke, but the rest of them are still intact. You ready for some chocolate, Brian?
I already had a piece.
Oh.
Let's go for day 22. All right. Santa's face, maybe? Nope. Kid on a sled, I guess.
Somebody on a sled, yeah.
And then looks like a bag of kids.
A bag of kids?
Well, actually, I think
Is
that's
it toys?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Santa's bag, and that's a doll with a toy horse behind
Aw.
her. I thought it was a bag of kids.
That would be kind of strange.
Right. So it's 22. Let's see.
It's at the bottom.
Ah. There we go.
So which is harder, drinking these or pulling them out of the box?
Both. This almost looks like a repeat. I don't know.
I don't recognize that. I mean, the blue is
blues,
similar. Yeah, the
yeah.
blue's similar, but the name's different.
All right. Edel Bayer, I guess.
And time for Star Wars.
I see it.
You see it? These are easier to see. The numbers are bigger. Is that a at? I think it's a at.
Kind of looks like it.
Maybe. We'll see. Put it together. All right, I was close. It's not an at, it's an ATST. It's the one that was in the episode with the Ewoks, so we were close. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the dough has set for an hour. This is just half of it. I think it's gonna roll out, you know, and take up most of this paper. So I have a gingerbread man and woman. I also have every other sugar cookie shape you can think of, and I also have mini gingerbread men, but the thing I found with the small ones is they burn when you cook them. They're very hard to get cooked right. So I'm just gonna stick to the two traditional sizes, roll this out, and get them in the oven.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the little ones' Christmas joy.
Okay, here they are. I've got a little more dough to roll out, maybe 2 or 3 more, but that's about it. So it makes a pretty small batch, because these, they might look big, but they're really not. They're about standard size for a gingerbread man. They did end up filling up pretty much 2 cookie sheets, so this is the first set that's done. I'm gonna let both sets cool. Then I need to make the royal icing, which is the white icing. Unfortunately, the icing recipe seems to be for making a gingerbread house because it calls for a lot of sugar. But I'm gonna go ahead and make it as is because it calls for an egg white and you can't really split an egg white, so I'm just gonna have a lot of sugar. I have already put an egg white in this dish, and I've got the arrowroot flour and the confectioner sugar here, and I've also got a lemon ready to go. So basically I'm gonna put the liquids in this bowl. So this is gonna be tricky because it's coming out multiple holes, but do the best I can here. All right, that came out pretty good. So it's lemon juice, egg white, and so those go together, and I'm gonna mix those up in a minute. But then I need to sift the arrowroot flour and the confectioner sugar.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys.
Okay, so here is what it looks like. It's basically smooth icing, but pretty stiff, which is what you want for either gingerbread men or house. Okay, I have put the icing into the Ziploc bag with the corner cut out, and we're gonna give it a go.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, 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 ho.
So I don't think that's bad for someone who's never iced gingerbread people before. I remember making gingerbread houses with my mother from scratch when I was a kid, but I don't think we ever iced gingerbread men. I know they're not perfect, but I'll take it. So that's the tray I showed you, and then this tray I decided to get a little creative since I had so much extra icing. Brian says he likes the plain ones better, but I don't know, I kind of like these guys. Alright, so we have to do a taste test, of course.
Oh, they sound crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
How's the crumble factor?
They're still crumbly.
Oh.
Now he's missing a leg. I do
Poor guy.
think that this was better than the previous recipe. They're definitely crispier. They're not soft. And I can see that you can make a house out of this. I mean, he's pretty sturdy. He's not about to fall apart.
That's cool.
So for those of you who are gluten-free, because I know we do have some viewers that are, I would recommend this recipe for attempting to make a... And the icing, this is definitely the right kind of firm icing that you need for a gingerbread house, but it's good. Thanks for joining us. As always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Happy Vlogmas!